everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dory's Helpful Hints. Today, I would like to talk about a system called Dressing Your Truth, created by Carol Tuttle. I've actually been involved in that system for almost 5 years, and I find that I have had a very difficult time finding my place and staying there. For those of you who are not familiar with the system, there are 4 energy types in the Dressing Your Truth system. The type 1 person is upward light. The type 2 person would be fluid and flowing. The type 3 person would be active and reactive. And the type 4 energy would be constant and still. And along with these energy types goes a certain color palette. So I have kind of bounced around between all of the types. I started out as categorizing myself as a type 1, and I dressed as a type 1 for about a year and a half. And then I started to kind of feel drained and tired and probably, if I'm honest, very restricted, because I was only allowed a certain set of colors. And I felt like these colors weren't working for me. So I moved from the type 1, which is upward light, to the type 4, which is constant and still. And the type 1 energy is upward light, bubbly, random. And I went from that energy to the constant still. And I didn't stay there long. I couldn't do constant and still. I never really have been able to. So from there I went back to the type 1 world, but still was questioning, wasn't sure that I had found my place, and really wanted some guidance on that. Over the next 3 years, I left the system, came back to the system. And when I say leave, I don't mean I actually left, because I've never been able to completely walk away. It would always be playing in the back of my mind. I would look at everything that I did during the day to see where it pertained to the energy types, and if that would give me a clue as to where I fit in. 5 years later, I'm still no closer to finding the answers, although I think I know myself a whole lot better. The biggest issue, I think, with this system, for me, is that women tend to partition their personality out into segments. And so if they do something that's, they'll say, oh, that's my type 2 coming out, or that's my type 1 coming out, or that's my type 3 coming out. And I don't think that that's accurate. I don't believe, I read on one of the websites where they talk about, from Hippocrates, the phlegmatic, melancholic, sanguine, and choleric, where they're supposed to be indicative of your personality. That we're not, it's not like you took a bowl of marbles and each one was a different color. And if you have more green marbles, then that's your type 1, and if it's more green marbles than anything else, then you're dominant type 1. But each part of your personality is separate and stands alone in this bowl. I think it's more like paint that you've mixed. You take red paint and you take blue paint and you mix it together and you get a beautiful shade of purple. You're not always going to get the same shade unless you go have it specially mixed and you get everything in balance at a paint store. But you're no longer red or blue. You're a combination of those things, a completely and totally unique combination of those things. If you look at the energy types, where all 4 types are in us, just in different proportions in each person, when you mix those 4 energies together, you get a distinct and unique type of energy. So you're never going to see really type 1, type 2, type 3, or type 4 in your actions. It's a blend of all of your energies together is going to be how you react. And I think for me, that's why I have such a hard time finding my place in this system. Also for me, because I have such a questioning mind, I look at all the possibilities, I I think that I've got it figured out, and then I'll look at something and say, wait, I didn't factor that piece into the puzzle. If I add that piece, the whole puzzle changes. Maybe the picture isn't what I thought it was. Maybe now it's got a reindeer in it. Maybe Santa Claus is going to be in here somewhere. So it would be easier for me, and in Dressing Your Truth, they will not type you. And it would be easier for me if someone typed me. Now, Carol will do it now online, and because I can get very linear in my thought processes, as far as I'm concerned, that's not really typing, because she can't see me, she can't see my movement from a still photo. There's all these things that go into her program that she can't get from just a photograph. And so this is one of the things that really bothers me, is that you can no longer go to them and say help. They will do makeovers where, if you're lucky enough to get chosen, they'll do a makeover. I will probably never get chosen because I've kind of rocked the boat in the system several times. I made a video prior to this one where I was very frustrated, and that came through in the video. When I went back to the system, I removed that video, but I am no longer able to join certain Facebook groups because of my comments, which is fine. But I don't feel I'll ever be able to actually go back to this system and find a home there, because I will never feel like the expert in that system has looked at me and said, this is where you fit. And I need that. Otherwise, I will keep second guessing myself. And yes, it's an issue of trust. I don't trust my own eyes, but I also didn't create the system. And so, because I didn't create it, and I don't have a clear picture of what all my puzzle pieces are supposed to look like, I'll never trust myself to get the picture right. I had a puzzle once where pieces were actually cut the same. So I would put a piece in and it looked like it fit, but it actually didn't fit, even though it was cut the same. It was a very difficult puzzle. I finally managed to put it together, but it took a long time. I think that that's my issue here, is you can see different parts of your personality that might fit in each of the different personality types, or the energy profiling for 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I think there's a very fine line that distinguishes one from the other. And I don't trust myself to find that line and be accurate with it. And I need to know that I've done it right, that I'm accurate. And at this point, I'll never know that. So for me, the system doesn't work. If you can get in there and you can look at the program and find yourself in that system, it might be a beautiful place for you to find yourself. All I can say is, if you get in there and you flounder and you bounce around like I did and you have a difficult time finding yourself, you might want to move on and try a different system. For me, the Myers-Briggs personality type reads very, very accurate. I'm an INFP in Myers-Briggs. There's a psychologist that wrote a book about color personalities, and in her system I'm a green, and that reads very true for me as well. So I have found myself in other places. It's not helping me with colors. As far as colors, as you know if you've looked at my other videos, I've been typed spring, I've been typed summer, and I've been typed a winter. The only thing nobody has classified me as is a fall, and I think that's because in all the systems, if you have blue eyes, you can't be an autumn at all. So at least I don't have to worry about 4 seasons. I only have to try and place myself in 3. And even the people who have seen me, I was seen in person as a muted soft summer, and I was seen in person as a bright winter, and you cannot possibly get more different than that. So I've already done a video on that. But as far as Dressing Your Truth, if you're interested, check it out. If it works for you, awesome. If not, hopefully some of my next upcoming videos will help you figure things out. As always, if you like the video, hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks guys, have a great week.